I know that the right administrator can make all the difference in that alone, even just the evaluation, but in everything, in the culture of the school, in how other people are treating other people, in how the kids respond. I don't know. I think it makes a huge difference.
Oh, it does, totally. Like at our first staff meeting, right when we met her, and she's like, oh my gosh, you're right. They need me. If I can get them when they're young and help them when they're young, then we could change the world. And she's all about, I'm a world changer. We're raising world changers.
Oh, I love
people
that.
in this building, we're all world changers. We're going to make the world a better place.
So you're listening to a conversation with Rachel, a second grade teacher from Missouri, and myself. We're discussing the impact an administrator has on the school culture of a school. I hope you're wide awake and you'll stay tuned.
Welcome to One Tired Teacher. And even though she may need a nap, this teacher is ready to wake up and speak her truth about the trials and treasures of teaching. Here she is, wide awake. Wait, she's not asleep right now, is she? She is awake, right? Okay. From Trina Debery Teaching and Learning, your host, Trina Debery.
Hi, what's up? This is Trina Debery. This is episode 5 of One Tired Teacher. In today's episode, I talked to Rachel, a teacher from Missouri who is sharing her truth about the value and importance of working for and with an outstanding administrator. So let's get to it. Rachel and I, we met in a Facebook group together, and we were on a chat with people talking about things that made education better right now. And your answer totally resonated with me. And I'm like, I have to speak with her. So this is Rachel. This is Rachel, a second grade teacher from Missouri. Rachel, so tell us a little bit about your experience.
Okay, well, I live in Missouri, and I've taught for 13 years, all in the same district. And I started out teaching first grade. I did that for 6 years. And then I was like, I'm getting burnt out. I need to do something different. So I asked my principal at the time for a change. And another girl was feeling the same way. So she wanted something different. So I took her pre-K position and we swapped. And I did that for 3 years. But I found out like a week before school started that it was going to become a CWC room. Mm-hmm. So I got a sped teacher I'd never met before. And then half my class was special ed students. So it was completely different from what I was kind of told it was going to be.
Oh, wow.
But still, I absolutely loved it. I had 20 kids in the morning, 20 kids in the afternoon, 10 sped, 10 peers. And after 3 years of doing that, my favorite person I got to work with was switching positions. So I was like, I just can't have another new teacher again. So I said, I need something different. I need my own room again. So give me something. So I told my current principal at the time, which was a different principal than I had before, I need something new. And I'm certified birth to 6th grade, so whatever you can find for me. And she's like, I have a 6th grade ELA position at the middle school. I'm like, sure, whatever, we'll do that.
Oh, my goodness.
And that comment actually came to bite me in the butt later on because I got moved later on because I go where I'm needed. Mm-hmm. Anyway, so I went to 6th grade ELA for a year, and towards the end of that year, the principals I had that time, I had an assistant principal and then just a principal, and they said, hey, we have to move somebody down from the junior high, you're losing on the total poll, we love you, but we got to move you. I'm like, great, where am I going now? And so they moved me to the school that's literally a minute from my house. It's where my kid will go. He'll start kindergarten next year. So, and I've already, that's where I wanted to be. That was my goal. When I started in this district, I was like, I've got to go to that school. That's where I want to be. But it's a hard one to get into. You gotta either know people or something. And so I got that position. I taught 3rd grade there for a year. And at the end of the year, I got summoned to the office again. And I'm like, oh, crap, great. What's going to happen? And the lady that moved me the last time was there. And I was like, where am I going now? Because I knew when I saw her, I was like, but Rachel, they need you back where you were. So they summoned me back to my old school where I was before, which is the Title I school. Mm-hmm. Completely different dynamics from what I had that previous year, where basically parent support was amazing. And I never had to worry about my babies getting fed. Yeah. I never had to worry about them needing tennis shoes like I did, at the other school.
Yes.
And, it took me a while to accept it because I was so happy where I was. So I was like, fine, I'll go wherever I'm needed. And so I went back and I taught 2nd grade there for 2 years now. Last year was my first year back, and then this is my second year. And last year, when I got summoned back, the principal was like, "But Rachel, I really wanted you here. I handpicked you, and they said we needed to move people around." And I'm like, "I know, but it's so hard because I was finally happy where I was."
Yes.
But I know these kids need me way more than those kids do, so I get it.
Uh-huh.
And then at the end of last year, we were told, "Look, you get a new principal." So we got a new principal this year who is amazing, and she was the reason why I responded to the Facebook post that you're talking about.
Yes, and that was one of the reasons why I really wanted to talk to you, because there are some things in education currently that are really difficult, and teachers are feeling very tired in that way. But when you hear, like, I love the tired, I think there's two ways of looking at it. Like, you've got the tired of, I'm so exhausted because I've got evaluations and I've got standards-based grading, and I've got all these different things that are like causing teachers that kind of emotional exhaustion. But at the same time, we still have this tired of, like, this passion where you're so passionate about something and you're excited and you work really hard. And at the end of the day, yes, you're tired, but it's a good kind of tired because you know that you've made a difference in someone's life.
Yeah.
And I think that I don't think we hear enough of that because we're feeling pretty overwhelmed. I mean, I definitely, even in that Facebook group alone, like, there was a lot of negative in response to that.
Oh, yeah.
Yours was one of the few positives. And I'm like, and not that I think that all we do is report about positives, because I don't think that's the case. Like, I think it's important to talk about things that are really happening, but I also think it's important to talk about good things that are really happening. So that's why I wanted to know. So I want, like, before we, like, jump into that part of the topic, because I do want to know, like, what made such a difference. First of all, like, I have a question. These are different principals at different schools, but how big is your district?
Well, our town has about 40,000 people.
Okay.
And we have 5 elementary schools.
Oh, wow.
And we have 1 middle school, 1 junior high, and 1 high school.
Wow. Okay. So you do get, like, moved around, and that's because, see, that's, like, so foreign to me that it's hard for me to even grasp, because our district is so large that I can't even tell you how many elementary schools we have. It's so many.
Really? Wow.
Yes. And actually they're building a new one, like, right outside my window. So, it's,
wow.
Yes, right. So it's crazy. It's like, that's why I'm like, whoa. So, and such a variety of experience to go from, like, 6th grade to pre-K. I mean, that's crazy. What did you do?
They would pull me in the office all the time. They're like, "Okay, Rachel, how are you doing?" I know half the time when I walk in your room, I can't find you because all the kids are taller than you. I'm like, "Well, I wave when I see you walk by." And they're like, "You're surviving, aren't you? You're surviving." I was like, "Yeah, I love my kids, but I miss my little ones." But yeah, so it was different, but it wasn't a bad difference. I enjoyed teaching. I was just saying that with 4th grade ELA, I love reading, obviously, and teaching ELA, I got to teach 3 different groups of kids, basically the same lesson 3 times. So planning was a lot easier because I was teaching the same thing. I've just adapted to the groups because some groups had more kids that were pushing for, like, a CWC kind of class. Mm-hmm. So it was a little bit different, but for the most part, I was basically planning the same lesson 3 times a day.
Wow. Yes,
so,
that's a totally different outlook than it is for elementary school teachers, unless you're platooning.
Definitely.
Like when I did a platooning model with another teacher, I planned for reading and science, and she did maths, social studies, and writing, and that was nice. But it was still really hard to have like 2 classes of, like, such a variety of different readers that I'm like, you know what, this is overwhelming. Yeah. Like the reading part was such an overwhelming part of it that I'm like, I don't know. I mean, I loved doing it with my partner, and my partner made a huge difference, but I don't know if I would have wanted to keep doing that for, like, years and years. I think I would have gotten exhausted. Plus, it's hard to teach the subject that kids don't always love. Now, that was always my goal, was that they would come out and loving it. Like, they would just love reading. But when you first ask them in the beginning of the year and they're like, math, I'm like, oh, I'm not teaching math anymore. So that changed, but they would have that answer would change later, but it's still hard. All right. So what are some of the parts of teaching that have left you feeling tired?
being switched around 4 years in a row was pretty exhausting.
Yes.
Because my son, he'll be 5 next week. And so he's been little pretty much the entire time that I always called it like I was drafted like a football player, like, oh, who wants Rachel? I'll take her. So that's kind of how I felt for 4 years. I was being drafted. And I was in 4 different schools in 4 different grades 4 different times. So
wow.
It wasn't consistent 4 years in a row. So it was a struggle because I was learning something new or learning a new curriculum or just figuring out the kids because the age groups are totally different and things like that. So that was really exhausting. And with this being my second year in second grade, I feel more at home because it's like, okay, I've done this for a year. Now I know what I want to tweak. Now I know what I need to leave out. I know what I need to add, things like that.
Yes.
So it makes it a little less stressful. And then like with my new principal, she's so laid back. And I feel like I could probably go into her office and talk to her about anything. And she doesn't stress me out. And I think some administrators kind of have that era around them that are like, I'm the boss. And you're kind of terrified by them at times.
You're right.
My new principal, she's not like that. Like, I don't feel like I'm being called to the principal's office if she wants to talk to me.
Yeah, that's nice.
Does that make sense?
Yes, absolutely. Because then you're having a conversation with a professional, like a coworker, and you don't feel as intimidated. And I think it would make evaluations easier too, because you feel like they're coming in and you have already been able to have an open conversation. They're coming in so you can learn something from them rather than like, what are you doing wrong? That's what it would feel like, in my opinion.
Yeah, and she doesn't even call herself the principal. She calls herself the lead learner of our school.
Oh, I love that.
I mean, she's all about like student leadership and just being leaders in our community. And one thing I haven't told you about yet is, like this past week, we did a service project.
Mm-hmm.
Every class, pre-K to 4 in our building, was on a bus at some point during the day on a service project.
Mm-hmm.
So pre-K, I don't think they let them leave, but pre-K, they had like a firefighter come in and talk with them about being a service to the community. And then kindergarten, they baked muffins and took them to the local police department. And the first grade, they went to a local nursing home and they read books and played games with the elderly. And then our grade, we took books and we went to a local preschool and we read to the preschoolers.
How fun.
And the kids I know, right? And the kids got to bring books that they felt comfortable reading. And I mean, a lot of our kids are reading below grade level, but they felt so excited to read to someone that obviously doesn't know how to read because they're like 3 and 4 years old.
Yeah.
And then third grade, they made little like dog bones with the ladies in the cafeteria. They made little treats, and then they made like out of scraps, they made dog toys, and they went and visited the Humane Society.
That is so cool.
Isn't that crazy?
Yes.
And the fourth grade, they went all within one day. It was kind of chaotic, but it all worked out. And then the fourth grade went to our local university, and they picked up trash around the university. So the whole school was doing some kind of servant leadership throughout our community, and it's like blown up all over our local TV station and everything. So they're like, oh my gosh.
Well, because that's unbelievable.
We're doing all kinds of crazy, amazing things.
I mean, you're like,
so awesome.
You're teaching other kids how to like pay it forward, how to share and like and show kindness to others. I love that, and be a productive citizen.
Exactly, and a lot of our kids, like I said, it's a Title I school, and a lot of our kids, they do get a lot of services, a lot of things given to them. Like we do have like a backpack program that sends our kids home with, not everybody, but the kids sign up for it, a backpack of food every Friday to take home with them for the weekend. And a lot of these kids are very used to, what are you going to give me? You know, what am I going to get? And so this is teaching them that you need to give back too. You know, yes, you get things and people give you things. But you've got to learn to give to others too, because it's not all about you. You know, the world doesn't revolve all about you. And we talk about that. We have a morning meeting every day, and we have a morning meeting in the gym. Our principal leads it, and it's an amazing thing. I'll have to send you a link at some point. But like the first thing she starts the day off with, you know, I am awesome. I have to be a leader, and all kinds of crazy stuff. And the kids really get into it. And
I love that. Is she doing like a The Leader in Me, that series? I think there's like a series.
Possibly.
Because it sounds familiar. I mean, like that sounds like that might be something that she would be doing. That's really cool though. I love that. Yeah. And the kids, like they're I think that's so important what you said about them feeling like they do get a lot. They receive a lot of like help and things like that. Although like they're in a difficult situation, but they do like kids sometimes, if they just keep getting, they do tend to feel like kind of entitled, which in my experience, like the entitlement thing, which is a whole nother topic, is sometimes worse, worse at other types of schools, which is upsetting. But we don't want to breed that in any child, in any person, actually. So you and I are in a Facebook group together, and a question was posed about like, what are some things that are hurting and helping morale in like the teacher community? And you shared a story about your administrator, and I would love for you to share that with us now.
Well, I can't remember exactly what I wrote, but that I said something about how she, like, her love for our kids, her fire for their education is infectious, and you can't help but be happy around her. And like, she's like, our walls used to be like all white, and she like came in and she had people like do all kinds of fun bulletin boards, like be the change in the world. You are amazing things happen here. There's all kinds of like really inspirational things all around our school. And then she had like, she's a PR dream totally, because she gets all these people like on fire for us, and they're donating money so that we can do things. And like, she got a local church to donate money to revamp our lounge, because nobody ever would eat in the lounge because it looks like a sterile place.
Yes.
And now there's a sofa and a Keurig and all kinds of crazy things that, you know, you actually want to go sit in there and hang out with your coworkers.
Yeah.
And she's just, I don't know. She makes it hard. Like, if I had an opportunity to go back to the school that I was like in love with, I think I would be really torn to leave because of her. Because of her. You know what I mean? Because it's like, she's made everything so different for so many people at our school. And I mean, people would usually like be kind of cliquey and kind of stay off to themselves or off to their grade level. But I mean, I always see like all the other teachers in the lounge, and we all kind of overlap on our lunches so we can all actually spend time together. Yeah. And she actually changed all of our schedules whenever she got the position over. She's like, I looked over the schedule. She goes, how can anyone have a lunch in 20 minutes? She goes, you guys are all going to have a 40-minute duty lunch, and we're going to do this because, you know, it's just not, I think she says, like, trauma sensitive. It's not trauma sensitive for you. It's not trauma sensitive for the kids. They need more time to play. You need more time to plan. Oh, and so
I love this.
There's just so much that she does. I know.
She definitely seems like she came in and thought of what was going to work for teachers as well as the students. Yes. Like, she cares about the whole community.
Before.
Yeah, that's
she
great.
said that before. She's like, you know what? You know, she used to work at an alternative school where a lot of kids go after they've been kicked out of our middle and junior high and high school. And that's basically their last resort before basically getting either kicked out of school or them dropping out. And, you know, she was always there to love on them. And this student leadership thing where we went out in the community and did stuff, she pushed that a lot whenever she was there. And so trying to get that kids to understand that, you know, it's not all about you. You know, you need to care about others and do things for others. And so that's where her heart is with these kind of kids, you know, the kids that they struggle, you know.
You're right. They have a hard, you're talking about trauma. I mean, you're talking about kids that are.
Yeah, they do.
Yes.
And we have been doing the trauma-informed school stuff this year. Our counselors are awesome too. And she gives us an email every week talking about how, you know, self-care, you need to take care of yourself. And our principal is the same way. It's just, if you're not happy and you're not calm, you can't be a good teacher. So you need to make sure you take care of you before you can take care of anybody else. And so that's always nice.
Absolutely,
it's
yes.
Like, if we're getting frustrated with somebody, you need to tap out. You need to tap out and let somebody else take your kiddos and let you breathe, take a lap around, you know, take a breather if that's what you need. And one of the days I was having a moment. I was like, I just need a cherry Coke to make my life a little bit better. And I have no breaks this afternoon. Oh my gosh. And so I sent out like an SOS on the email. I was like, anybody please, if you're going to go take a lunch break or you have a planned period and you happen to go out and get yourself a drink, please get me a cherry Coke. I'll pay you back. I swear I had like 8 people either email me or call me. And I even had somebody just come up and give me a cherry Coke. I'm like, oh, thank you. Our building is more of a family than it's ever been, because everybody's all about, hey, how can I help you? Yeah. And I really feel like she's kind of like instilled that in all of us.
Yes, because it trickles down.
She's amazing.
It totally trickles down. You start treating
Yeah.
others that way, and they want to treat you that way, and they want to treat others that way. And I think that it makes such a huge difference. How important do you think, like, the administration is in the life of a teacher?
It's a make or break kind of thing. Like if you don't have a connection with your principal, or if you feel like they look down on you or they don't really care what happens to you, I mean, that makes your life so much harder. I mean, yes, you're in your classroom most of the day with you and the kids, but who you work with and who you work under is so important too, because if you don't feel secure in your position or you don't feel like you're valued,
Yes,
it's like, why am I even here? You know, I can't do my job if they don't let me do my job.
you're right.
And I feel like she truly lets me do my job because, I mean, she was actually in my room observing like a month or two ago, and my kids were off the chain. So on the remote shoot, I noticed that your kids had a little trouble focusing and calming down, but you did a great job, you know, walking around and helping them refocus, and you got them back to where they needed to be. It wasn't any of, oh my gosh, your kids were terrible. It was none of that. And I feel like sometimes we feel like we're just being, you know, battered every time we get
You're right.
an observation, because it's like, of course, my kids were nuts because somebody walked in the room. They're going to be crazy. And then we're like, oh man, you know, this is what went wrong, but they didn't see this. And she's always like, well, I'm sure something else happened before I came in. Please tell me what happened so I can see it through your eyes too. So
Oh,
I
that's
don't know.
great.
I mean, she's amazing.
That's a huge part, because I do feel like, I mean, it's like human nature. It happens every single time. Like something wonderful happened, and of course they didn't come in during the wonderful. They walked in right in the middle of a transition, or in the middle of somebody tripped over the chair and they're crying, and it's always something that's going on, and you're like, oh no, if you'd just been here like 10 minutes earlier.
Definitely. Yeah,
It feels like that.
are the worst. And usually if she comes in, or she would see like, oh, you're moving from here to here, I'll be back in like 10 minutes, because she knows there's no point in sitting down, because it's going to take a kid a minute to get settled. It's going to take them a moment to get their minds right.
Okay, now that is for sure a principal that remembers what it feels like to be in the classroom, because that's so few and far between. I feel like that that they forget those kind of things, that they're immediately looking for, I guess maybe that's sometimes what I feel like an evaluation. It's almost like they're looking for what you're doing wrong rather than what you're doing right. And we would never want to teach kids in that way. We try to build on their strengths, and we try to build them up from where they are, and we meet them where they are. And so I always felt like, why wouldn't we do that during an evaluation? And if you're in here to find the things that I'm not doing that are on this rubric, then like, I don't know, it feels demoralizing almost. Like
It does.
I don't know. I feel like that. I know that the right administrator can make all the difference in that alone, even just the evaluation, but in everything, in the culture of the school, in how other people are treating other people, in how the kids respond. I don't know. I think it makes a huge difference.
Oh, it does, totally. Like at our first staff meeting, right when we met her, she was just like, I'll admit, I didn't really want to be an elementary principal. She was like, I went to alt school for a while, and then I worked at the high school. I was an assistant principal, and everybody's like, oh, you're so bubbly and fun. You'd be great with little kids. And she was, I sort of told them, I don't really think I like little children. And then somebody told her, hey, think about, little Johnny that you had at the alt school, and, he's about to drop out of school because of all these terrible things that have happened to him and how he's made all these bad choices. What if you could have got him when he was in second grade, before all this extra trauma has occurred to him that has helped push him over the edge to be where he is? And she's like, oh my gosh, you're right. They need me. If I can get them when they're young and help them when they're young, then we could change the world. And she's all about, I'm a world changer. We're raising world changers.
I love
people
that.
in this building, we're all world changers. We're going to make the world a better place.
That's incredible. It must feel empowering. And you've been teaching for a while. So it's not like you're in the very beginning of teaching, where sometimes I feel like we definitely have that mentality of we're going to change the world. And then you slowly kind of get it chipped away. It kind of chips away with some of the harder things, but to still feel that passion and that enthusiasm, and then to have it around you after teaching for 13, 14, 15 years, whatever, what a huge difference. Now, how long has this person been a principal?
This is, okay, last year she was at another building as a principal, but they basically stole her from them and put them over with us.
Okay.
Because, like I said, she's a PR dream. She's amazing, and you don't even want to know all the tears from the people at that school. We actually had 13 people try to transfer to our school once they knew that she was leaving.
Wow.
Because people love her that much.
Wow.
And we only had 2 opening positions, so we only got 2 of the people that wanted to come over. And, she's amazing. So I forgot the question you even asked.
How long she has been a principal? So she's still in the early years of it.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. So this is her second year being a lead learner, as she would call it. She doesn't even like to call herself a principal. Her second year at 2 different buildings, and then before that, she was like 2 or 3 years at as an assistant principal. And she's my age. She just turned 36, so she's relatively young, and she doesn't have any children of her own. And but she doesn't call him her boyfriend, her man friend. He has 2 young children, so she's been around children forever. So, and she even said this: "I'm not a mom, but I like to mom all these kids, you know."
Yeah.
And I have all the time in the world to give all the love I have because I don't have any of my own. So I think that also helps with her on fireness because she can put all her love and energy into it too.
You're right. It's not divided, which is a hard balance, which you've experienced because you said you had a almost 5-year-old. That's a hard balance.
My son is currently in his room making lots of noise. And I told him, if you're quiet while I'm on the phone, just maybe, we'll go to the store after this. So he's doing pretty good.
Oh, that's funny. So sometimes we have to. I think we have to do that sometimes, even for ourselves. If you just keep going for 30 more minutes on the treadmill, then maybe you can have some dessert.
There you go.
Oh, that's what I tell myself. Anyway, so what are your thoughts on what we could change in the current climate of what's happening in education? Obviously, this would be one of the ways.
Yes, definitely having more administrators that truly remember what it's like to be a teacher, and they're looking out for us and what is best for us and helping us do our job to the fullest. And honestly, that is the biggest key to any position. Like, okay, I've been teaching for 13 years, but I've had 6 different principals. 6. And the building in which I'm currently at, since I started, we have that building itself in the last, 10 years have had 4 principals. So it doesn't really, and people don't stay as long. They usually do the 3 or 4 years, and then it switches to somebody else. And so that's kind of hard because then when someone new comes in, you have to figure out, what are they wanting? What are their expectations of me? And that makes it harder for some of my teacher friends that have been there forever. Like, I have one of my Title I friends that she helps with 2nd grade. She'll be retiring in a couple years, and she's had 6 or 7 just at that building alone. And she says it's hard every year because every time we get someone new, we have to figure out what are they wanting from us, and we have to worry, can we just do our job, not knowing who's coming in,
You're right. The expectations change with a new leader, and so you're constantly having to reacclimate yourself to what this new person wants. I know that's a philosophy actually in my current district, where they've talked about not keeping a principal at a school for past 5 years. And I was very lucky because I had the same principal for 13 years in one school, and we were also together for another 6 in the other school. Yeah. So I had the same principal for almost 20 years, which I think, which is, the only one time I'm sorry, I take that back. There were 6 months where when I came off of maternity leave with my daughter, who is now 18, and I wasn't planning on returning at that point, but we were just dying financially at that moment. And so I needed to come back to work, and I couldn't go back to my regular school because I was coming off leave early and someone had the position.
Yeah.
So I had to go to a different school, and so that was the first time, but I had a brand new principal. He came in when I came in. We started in January together, but he was great. Yeah. He actually went on to be great, but I still wanted to go back to the one that I principal from before. So I think that I was pretty lucky. I only had a different principal at the last year and a half. I guess it was the last 2 years, I should say, last 2 years of school for me, where I I had different people. And that was it was hard after such a long amount of time with one person. It was very hard to say the least.
Yeah.
So I think for people that have had multiple principals like over and over again, I think that, I don't know, it's scary too, because there's something a little bit scary about it. Don't you feel like?
It is. And also, it's also really difficult. And I know a lot of teachers would agree with me on this, is when someone gets a position as a principal or something higher than you, and they have less experience than you in the classroom,
Yes.
and they're telling you how to do things. It's really hard to be like, okay, really? You want to say you don't know what you're talking about? You know? I've had that happen. I mean, everybody's had that happen before, I'm sure.
You're right.
Because, I mean, a lot of people that get into administration, that's their goal. I mean,
You're right.
I want to teach for 5 years, and then I'm going to be an assistant principal here, and then do that for a couple years, and then I can get my principal's job, and then do that for a few years, and then maybe work at the board office and do that for the rest of my life. I mean, some people, that is their goal, and that's fine and dandy. I myself, though, it's kind of difficult when someone has less experience and they're trying to tell you how to do things. It's like, you weren't even in the classroom long enough to really understand what it's like.
No, you're right.
So I think that's another difficult thing, too, is I'm sure some people struggle with that, is having someone that has less experience than them telling them how to do their job.
I totally agree with you. I think that's hard in any job, and it doesn't happen as often as I think it happens in teaching. I think you're right. And there are people, I mean, I for sure never wanted to go into administration. The only reason I even dabbled in it at the end was because my principal was convincing me. He was like, you've got to do it. You've got to do it. And I'm like, I really didn't want to. I only did it because of him. And because my goal was to always just be the best teacher I could be. The next year I wanted to be better than the year before. And so that I'm like, what's wrong with having this as my 5-year goal? My I don't understand why I can't just I want to be a teacher. Like what's wrong with wanting to be a teacher? And
I think a lot of us are told that, like, okay, now what's your next goal? I'm like, well, I have my master's with 30.
Yes.
If I'm staying a teacher, that's as far as I can go, you know?
Yeah.
And then they're like, well, and then my master's is in administration. I have elementary and secondary, but I have zero desire to do that yet. And so my son's like in middle school. I mean, like I said, he'll be 5 next week. So
you have a while,
and then I might not want to do it.
And and you're right. You won't want to do it. I know. And see, they don't even pay for our masters in my district anymore.
Oh yeah.
I made it right on, like, I got mine in 2011, and I made it right on the line. So luckily, I was paid for my masters, but it was in technology and media design in education. It was amazing. It was like the most amazing program I've ever experienced, but it didn't really, the only thing it did, I did get I got a grant right after I graduated. I applied for a grant, and I but iPads 1-to-1 in my classroom. So I will say, it was unbelievable. So I had a lot of fun with technology for a while, and but your hands get so tied in some aspects because they won't let you on certain websites, or they won't let you, upload things, or whatever the situation is, which that frustrates me. I like to be a little bit more in control of things that I'm doing so that I can troubleshoot in advance and not be like caught not knowing what's going on, So
well, I think that's another thing that's a struggle as a teacher, is all the technology.
Yes.
I mean, we're expected to know all this new stuff, and sometimes to learn that new stuff, you have to go to trainings in the summer on your own dime.
You're right.
Sometimes to learn these things, which is kind of difficult. And I mean, the teachers that are used to doing pencil and paper, they're like, I don't want to do it, but then you kind of push to do it. And so, I mean, I try to have a nice balance between the two.
Yes.
But yeah, that's a struggle too, is trying to keep up with all the new technology. And whenever, like, we take our Friday reading test on our Chromebooks. What happens when the Chromebooks don't work? And you're like, great, now I need to run the copier and make paper tests.
You're right.
By the time I get back to my room to make the paper test, guess what? The Chromebooks are working again. And I'm like, guys, we're doing paper tests today. Sorry.
I've already run them off. Yeah. I mean, you're right. And that's something I don't think people understand sometimes. They want you to be innovative, but the innovation like when you're dealing with 18 to 20 or however many kids you have, we had a cap at 18, although it usually went to 20. Regardless of the cap. When you have 17. So. Do you have? Oh, wow. Yes. When you have that 17 second graders and they're having a hard time logging into something, that's difficult. You have to have procedures in place to deal with that. And it's very time consuming. I don't think that people understand that sometimes either.
Yeah.
But
And another frustrating thing about being a teacher is if you ever need to take a day off, you have to make sub plans.
yeah.
We can't just take a day off.
No, you're right.
I'm sure you've had that problem too.
Absolutely. You're absolutely. I actually, that was one of the things that I made like immediately was emergency sub plans, because I am like, we had to have a week's worth of plans ready to go. And I'm like, and it was, sometimes it wasn't even worth taking the day off for, because it was so much hassle just doing the sub plans. But I always wanted
Definitely.
I wanted to be the one that was home when my kids were sick. Like I'm like, no,
Yeah.
I'll stay home. They're sick. I have to stay home. But it was hard. It's hard.
Yeah,
You're right.
I haven't taken a day off, like an actual day off that I had to take off for being sick in a good 5-6 years.
Oh my
So, okay,
goodness, Rachel.
My son will be 5. I haven't taken a real day off since I was on maternity leave, let's be honest. And like I've, knock on wood, I don't usually get sick. And if I do get sick, it's a curse on a weekend because it's like, oh, you can be sick now. You don't have to go to school.
Yeah, now that you've relaxed a little, now you're going to get sick.
Yeah, that's pretty much how it is.
That's not good. Well, I think that you've actually shared a lot of really helpful information about like how important it is to have that kind of a culture and climate in your school. And really you hit on the key thing about caring about teachers. And if we did a little bit more of that, then I think people they're willing to put in the work. I think I told you in an email back and forth together that I spent the night at school. Like I was happy to be at school working with my friend. It was so fun. But I didn't feel obligated, obviously. Like we were there, my daughter was having the first grade sleepover and we were there. I was there to make sure that she was okay because she had a hard time with things like that. And we worked. We were like, oh yay, we're going to get all of our stuff ready for back to school. And this was at the end of the year. So it's like, but that's because our principal, we felt valued. Like we knew we were valued. So we didn't feel animosity or resentment towards him because we were working for free, basically. Yeah. Which we do a lot of. So I think you hit it with, we got to really care about teachers and each other, because I sometimes think that we're really hard on each other. And maybe if we worked on some of that too, I think that would be really helpful. Do you have any, go ahead.
Well, I want to say a new thing that I was going to add is that, in the mornings, we have Emergent Engineering at school where the kids get to play, basically, with different things to build and, plastic cups, build a tower, things like that, in the mornings for the first 30 minutes. And one of the things that our principal sent an email out about was saying, hey, if you want to go see what other people are doing, just shoot me an email. I'll come watch your kids and let you go check out somebody else's room and see what they're doing so you can add to your, ideas for emergent engineering. And if there's ever a time you want to go visit another classroom in the building to see what they're doing for a certain thing, you let me know. I'll watch your kids. And, she does that all the time.
That is unbelievable.
That helps, too, because,
what size school do you have? Like, how many kids are in your school?
About 300.
About 300.
It's growing now because we have kids throughout the district trying to transfer to us because, like I said, everybody loves her.
Everybody loves her.
Starting next year, we're actually going to have open enrollment, and obviously we'll serve our kids in our little area first, but if we have extra space, we can take on other kids.
That's amazing. There's
big plans that we're not even allowed to talk about yet about things that are changing at our building, all mostly because of who we have and all the crazy, wonderful ideas she has for our building. So
that's exciting.
Lots of fun things coming still.
Yeah, that's exciting. Well, we'll have to I'll have to link to her Twitter account in the show notes. Totally. Yeah, so that people can get a chance to check her out, because there sounds like some amazing things happening. I love the engineering thing. Like that's incredible. It sounds like you have like a like the ideal place to be. And 300 we had 1,300 at my my last school, like busting at the seams. One of the reasons why the school is being built like right behind me. So it's gigantic. So I think a school of 300 it's a totally different world for a principal as opposed to a school with 1,300 and only 2 assistant principals.
Well, here, she feels like she knows all the kids. she loves on them every time. Like, she stands by the door when they get off the bus. And we basically have a welcome wagon. We have our assistant principal, her, our counselor, all standing by the door, letting the bus riders in and stuff like that every morning. And on our snow day this last week, she spent her snow day traveling around in our area, giving food bags to the families. That's how she spent her snow day. So it tells you her heart is invested
Absolutely.
totally in our school.
Absolutely. Well, thank you so much for sharing all this information. It's refreshing to know that there are some really good people out there trying to do some really good things, including yourself. Like, you sound like you still have a definite heart for education, and I think that's really special. So thank you.
Well, thank you so much.
And thank you so much for sticking around. I know the audio is a little hard to hear with that smidge of an echo. I tried to fix it, but it didn't all come out. So hopefully you got to hear the message, which was how important it is to have a strong administrator at your school and someone that is looking out for teachers. That makes such a huge difference. And I think if we would kind of recognize that a little more, we would see how powerful that can really be and what a difference that makes to teachers. I think we have to remember, if we take care of our teachers, that is taking care of our students as well. If you like what you hear, I hope you'll leave a review and a rating and subscribe so you don't miss an episode. This one tired teacher is ready for a long winter's nap. You keep doing what you're doing. Take care and sleep tight.